Hey everyone, it's that math magician, and on this video, I like for us to talk about how to find an equation of a line that's perpendicular to another line. Now this question that is given to us says that we want to come up with a line that is perpendicular to the line y equals 2x minus 2, and it also needs to pass through the point -3, 5. Now with that point, I do know that this -3 is an x value, and I do know that the 5 is a y value. And we're going to use that information later on to get the final pieces of our equation. Now you might be a bit confused, or maybe you don't fully understand what it means for a line to be perpendicular to another line. What that really means is, let's say I'm given this line here, and I want to have a line that's perpendicular to that line. What the word perpendicular means, let me go ahead and highlight that so we can see that word perpendicular. What perpendicular means is that another line intersects the original line, but more importantly, it intersects, and where the angle is that they intersect at, it creates a 90-degree angle. Okay, that's what it means for lines to be perpendicular. Okay, it's two lines intersecting that have a 90-degree angle. Now, for two lines that are perpendicular to each other, there's something special about their slopes. And what's special about their slopes is that they are actually opposite reciprocals of each other. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are, and this is the important part, they're opposite reciprocals. Okay, so what that means is, if I know the slope of one of the lines, that means I can find the slope of the other line very quickly. So let's work through this problem. I'm given the equation y equals 2x minus 2. I want to find a line that's perpendicular to this line. Well, I do know from our definition of what a perpendicular line is that their slopes are going to have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, so when I'm creating my new equation, right, I'm going to have y equals mx plus b. This is our standard equation for a linear function. I know that whatever this m is here, I'm going to go ahead and write this off to the side. I know that m is going to be the opposite reciprocal of this slope here. Now, for it to be opposite, that means that the sign's going to change, right? If it was positive, it becomes negative. If it was negative, now it's positive. So since my original line here had a slope that was positive, I know that my new slope is going to be negative. And then to get the reciprocal, all that means is that if I have a fraction such as a over b, the reciprocal would be b over a, right? The numerator and the denominator just switch places. So over here, if I have a slope of 2, really that's a slope of 2 over 1. The reciprocal of that would just be 1/2. So I know that my slope for my new line here is going to be -1/2. Alright, we are almost done with the equation of this line. The very last piece of information that we need to figure out is what that starting point, or the y-intercept, that b term, what is it? We got to figure that out. Well, I do have an x and a y variable here. I do have a point that this line has to go through. So all I have to do is take my y value of 5, plug that in. I have equals, I have my slope, remember the opposite reciprocal of my other slope. I'm going to plug in my x value, and now I have an equation with just one variable, and I can solve for b. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to have 5 equals, well, -3 times -1/2, that just creates 3/2 plus b. The last thing I need to do is subtract 3/2 on both sides. Those cancel on the right side. I'm just left with b equals 5 minus 3/2, which ends up being 3.5. Or if you want to write that as a fraction, because the other parts were as a fraction, the fraction would be 7 halves. Okay? We can also write it this way too, 7 halves. Alrighty, so now we have all the missing pieces for our line that is perpendicular to this line here. And that equation is y equals, my new slope was -1/2. Remember, opposite reciprocal of the old equation. I'll put my x, and then I know that my b term here that we solved is plus 7 halves. That is our final equation for a line that is perpendicular to the line y equals 2x minus 2. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video.